Hello, folks. Happy New Year. You wouldn't know it was me if I didn't start with the chart. And so there it is. There's the chart for this video. We're looking at silver in the monthly time frame. Oh, and my apologies. I typically would show that. We are in the monthly time frame. This is a logarithmic chart. Current price target 150 to $200, somewhere in there. 170, 180 if I was a betting man. And we've looked at this chart before, so just wanted to include that. Basically, to have a chart in this video. And of course, this is I make notes. The notes are for me, basically, so I don't forget what I want to talk about. This is my timeline we looked at in my last video. And I've added some new data points to the timeline, and that's what I want to focus on in this video. And so I believe the bigger font, the larger text here, is new information on this timeline. One point in particular, there were two margin increases on the COMEX last week. Not just one, there were two margin increases on the COMEX. And so want to make sure that that's clear. And then, more since the last video, there has been significant activity in the repo markets, 74, 77, 97, that's $100 billion. So $100 billion worth of activity in the repo markets in the last few days. And then on the 1st, so the 1st of 2026, we've got China with new export restrictions, licenses required. And then, of course, on the 3rd, we've got, this was Saturday, I believe, yesterday, yes. U.S. went in and captured Maduro. In this video, I'm going to focus on two particular data points. The first one being the margin increases on the COMEX, and then the repo activity. And so let's continue. Folks, all I'm doing is providing educational information. It isn't financial advice, not investment advice. And I'm reminding myself of information that I've seen in the past. Maybe it didn't sink in the first time. And so anyway, I do my research for myself and then I share it with you. And so in this case, I wanted to look into the history of margin increases on the COMEX. And so back in 1980, and of course, a different world back in 1980, the Hunt brothers, they were trying to corner the market in silver. And so the COMEX came out and they changed the rules. That's like in you're playing Monopoly. If you've got siblings, you can relate to, I'm playing Monopoly with my siblings and I start to win. And then my siblings decide to change the rules. That's not really fair. But anyway, that's what happened in 1980. COMEX they changed the rules. Essentially, as I understand it, the only option at that point was to close whatever position you currently had open. Your only option was to close it. Of course, for the Hunt brothers, that meant they had to sell their long positions. They were trying to corner the futures markets, and so they were long, and then were forced to sell, basically, with this rule change. And then in 2011, which of course, we had the last big precious metals bull market ran from 2002 to, late 2011, early 2012. Depends if you want to look at physical metals, mining stocks. But anyway, in 2011 in spring, so COMEX raised margin 5 times in, that's 2 weeks, basically 9 trading days. That's 2 weeks of trading. They raised margins 5 separate times. And so, and that's the point I'm making here. That was just, hey, we don't like you're winning, we're losing, we're going to change the rules so we win. That's what happened back in 1980. And here in 2011, well, it wasn't as blatant a manipulation as changing the rules. They just hiked margin so many times and multiple times in a short period of time, and forced all the long traders to close their positions, broke the price of silver. And here we are in 2025. So far, COMEX has increased margins twice. And that's the key point, is we want to pay attention. Well, I will be paying attention to what is the COMEX doing in regards to margin going forward, relative to its history of changing margin. So, and let's continue. This was the second point that I wanted to make in this video, and I'm gonna finish well under 10 minutes. If we look at repo window activity, one of the things I've seen out on the web is people saying, oh, okay, yeah, there's a lot of activity in the repo window. It's just end of quarter, end of year. And at first I bought that. It's like, okay, that makes sense, but let's go look at the chart. If what we are currently seeing in the repo markets, this is zoomed back in. So this is the last 3 months of activity in the repo markets. There it is. On deck 31, December 31st, we had, what's that, 74 billion? Yeah, $74 billion worth of activity in the repo window. If that is standard end of year window dressing, positioning, balance the books, whatever you want to call it, why don't we see the same activity in any of the previous 4 years? And I'm going to leave you with that question, folks. See you soon.